This is the man I loved, Yes, it was awful at times, but I loved him and what he was
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
During Johnny Depp's 3-year legal battle with ex-wife Amber Heard, the public has heard official and unofficial testimonies from a large number of people who knew them. This includes friends, former romantic partners, and current and former employees. Suppose we include those who have simply seen Depp's films. In that case, the number of commentators is likely to be in the millions, coalescing in what is colloquially known as pylon, usually directed at Heard, who is being sued for defamation, and who is also suing back for double the damages. Even so, it appears that there is always something more to say about either defendant in the trial. Let us look at some of these statements. First comes Raquel Pennington. Pennington became emotional during her video deposition when asked to describe photos of Heard's injuries from alleged assaults by Depp. Pennington sobbed as she described Heard as having a bruise on her eye and swelling on her nose, according to NBC News.
With 2 black eyes and swollen bottom lip.
Pennington also testified that Heard had to cover bruises and injuries to her face with makeup on a regular basis. According to the New York Post, Pennington recalled Heard showing her makeup artist the injuries and having to cover bruises before an appearance on The Late Late Show with James Corden in December 2015. Pennington denied allegations made by Depp's legal team that she and Heard staged damage to the couple's penthouse in Los Angeles in May 2016. She instead described an inebriated Depp swinging a wine bottle and causing damage to the couple's home. Pennington admitted during her testimony that she never saw Depp hit Heard. Still, she did describe seeing a bloody patch on Heard's head, with missing hair and deep cuts on the backs of her forearms, allegedly from altercations with Depp. "I was scared for Amber and I was sad for Johnny because he was also my friend," Pennington told NBC News. "I was concerned about her physical safety. I was concerned that when he turned, he would inadvertently do something far worse than he had intended." The next is Courtney Love. Courtney Love, the late Kurt Cobain's wife, was among the many commentators this weekend ahead of the trial's final week. She retracted her statements on Saturday after making them in a series of videos posted on a friend's Instagram account. In a subsequent post on her own account, "I spent time online expressing myself. Unfortunately, the platform accidentally published a story I didn't want to make public. I'm sure it wasn't on purpose, in which I'm weaponizing snark. What else to do with snark? Was it my fault? Granted, massive character flaw, ego. Was it a genuine show of support for someone who has been a wondrous presence in our lives? Is this any of my business? No." According to the original series of videos, the wonderful presence refers to Depp, who saved Love from a drug overdose outside the Viper Room in the 1990s, and then took care of her daughter Frances Bean Cobain. Love went on to say, "I certainly don't always do the right thing, but I'd like to express my neutral support for a friend. I don't want to be a tyrant. I've had enough of being bullied, but I didn't want to admit to my own bias, internalized misogyny. I'll give you a break on that one. Take a look at my job. I'm working on it. I don't want to contribute to more online bullying for someone who is being bullied like no one has ever been online, ever. I was wrong. According to my recovery program, when we were wrong, we promptly admitted it. The only significant takeaway from what was posted is that I stated that we should all stop having fun with Schadenfreude. Look it up. Delight in another's downfall, and instead show genuine empathy for both parties. Again, please accept my apologies if I have offended anyone." Love stated in the first series of videos released over the weekend, "I don't want to make any public pronouncements. I just want to tell you that Johnny gave me CPR when I overdosed outside the Viper Room in 1995, referring to Depp's former West Hollywood club, where River Phoenix collapsed and died of a drug overdose in October 1993. On her 13th birthday, Johnny wrote her a 4-page letter that she's never shown me. When I was on crack and daughter Frances Bean Cobain was having to suffer through that with all these social workers," Love continued. Depp, according to the musician, sent limos to Cobain's school where all the social workers were crawling around, again unasked, for her and all her friends to go to both Pirates of the Caribbean films. He did it several times. Finally, he assigned her a seat with her name on it at the premieres, Love persisted. "I've never seen any of the Pirates films, but Frances raved about them. Mama, he saved my life," she told me when she was 13 years old, and she said it again. Near the end of the video post, Love stated that she has been the most hated woman in America and the world in the past.
"Hated woman in America? I've been the most hated woman in the world."
And has a lot of empathy for what it must feel like for Heard, 36. But if you use a movement for your own personal gain and inhabit queer, feminist, intersectional spaces and abused that moment, then I hope justice, whatever it is served, she added. And I believe we should have less schadenfreude and more empathy for everyone involved. Josh Drew gives testimony. Josh Drew is Pennington's ex-husband who lived in the same Los Angeles building as Depp and Heard. He testified about a May 2015 encounter with Depp in which Depp was screaming, cursing, spitting in his face, and yelling gibberish. Drew claimed that he ran into Pennington and Heard after that encounter, who told him about an alleged physical altercation with Depp. Drew told NBC News Amber was like catatonic, like a 1,000-yard stare, and she was like done, ghost-like. Drew also testified that Depp arrived hours late at Heard's 30th birthday party. Drew said in a video deposition played for the jury, he came very obviously intoxicated and put on a show for everybody. Christina Sexton gives testimony. Christina Sexton, Heard's former acting coach, testified about staying with Heard and Depp on vacation at a luxury trailer park and hearing a screaming fight between the then couple. She called Heard the next day. According to NBC News, Sexton stated, "I saw a completely torn apart trailer. Johnny was apologizing for his actions and instructing his bodyguards to simply pay it off. Let's deal with it." Sexton also testified about the couple's very tension-filled relationship, noting that Depp became much darker and more critical of Heard over time. According to the New York Post, Sexton testified, "I had to block out time cushions around her classes because she'd be sobbing when we started and we wouldn't be able to work." Elizabeth Mars gives testimony. Elizabeth Mars, Heard's acquaintance, testified in a video deposition that she witnessed an alleged fight between a wasted Depp and Heard in 2016. According to Deadline, Mars saw a visibly upset Heard with a swollen face. It looked like she had been hit in some way, Mars testified in court. She went on to say that Depp's presence at the time made her frightened. Melanie Iglesias gives testimony. Melanie Iglesias, Heard's friend and makeup artist, also testified via video. Iglesias testified about covering up Heard's allegedly bruised face and split lip before her 2015 appearance on James Corden's show. According to Deadline, "We covered the bruises with a heavier concealer," the makeup artist explained, adding that she used a really red lipstick to cover the injury on her lip. Whitney Heard had to say, Whitney Enriquez, her sister, testified in her place. "There's a persistent rumor that Amber abused Whitney as well. I can't believe Amber got the better of you. You kicked in videos of Whitney's friends being concerned and asking her about the bruise on her face surfaced recently on the internet. None of this seems to matter because Whitney, like Amber's best friend and Johnny's other friends, will always be on Amber's side. Whitney lived in one of the actor's penthouses. We believe the stay was unpleasant because Amber accuses Johnny of almost hitting her sister on the same day she claims."
Grabbed Amber by the hair with one hand and was whacking her repeatedly in the face with the other.
She first hits Johnny to protect her sister, and when Johnny swings at her, Whitney doesn't even pause. She didn't hesitate, and she immediately thought of Kate Moss and the stairs, and she swung at him. Whitney recalls Amber waking up to her one day to inform her that Johnny was cheating on her. Amber awoke to the words, "Can you believe he's cheating on me?" Whitney stood up and told her to stay right where she was. So she got up and left Amber in her penthouse while she confronted Johnny. Amber's lawyer then asked if she was sober or if she'd been drinking and talking to Johnny when this happened. Whitney stated that she was leaving the penthouse, prompting the question, "Are you sober drunk? Have you had anything to drink?" She stated that the only time she was sober were in the middle of the night when she was sleeping.
It was in the middle of the night. I was asleep.
Whitney slipped and replied that this was one of the few times she was awake in the middle of the night on the same day that Amber and Johnny had a big fight. Let us know what you think of the comments made by these people. Like and subscribe to keep in touch with all things pop culture.